Hello, guys, and welcome to of our free 5-day online workshop. It's all on the art of selling. Step formula to increase your sales exponentially. Whether you're in the sales or service industry, if you have a business, whether it's online, brick and mortar, it really doesn't matter. This is the training for you. We are so excited to have you here with us today. This training will be a full week. We will be with you for 1 hour each day at this time. This is 7 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just have a few housekeeping items. I want you to make sure that you have a pen and paper with you, a drink of choice, and remove all distractions and be with an hour to get the most of it. We are streaming today, so we're pretty excited. Streaming from YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And I just first off would like to introduce our trainers today. They are amazing human beings. Is Alexander Moore, who is also Alexander Minto, who is my mentor, and she is a performance and mindset coach who was personally mentored by. And then we have Nick Bugalo, who is sales mindset, and he has 20 plus years experience in sales. So without further ado, I would like to bring Nick on to get this party started.
Party started indeed. Thank you very much, Nicole. Guys, thank you very much for being here. I'm really thrilled and excited to be with you tonight. Whenever I get an opportunity to talk about sales or sales conversation, I'm excited to share my experience and some of my knowledge. Now, over the course of the next 5 days, we are going to share information with you that will change the way you see the world. It will change the way you perceive what you're doing right now in your life. The material that we have to share with you is without question one of the best there is on the topic of personal growth and self-development. It will make or break your thought process. Now, what I would like you to do is engage with us throughout this week. Participate, come forward, because in order for you to benefit from this, and in order for us to benefit from this, it's really important that you participate, lean in, chat with us in the chat box whenever we ask a question, and that makes it really engaging, which is really great. So the most important part, of course, is for you to pay attention. As Nicole said, if you have pen and paper, take some notes, really important, and I hope that you get the benefit from these sessions. And as I've said in one of my videos recently, we really want to add value to your professional and personal life from this moment on. Okay, let's get down to session one. So how many of us here sell? First question. So how many of us here sells? So could you, in your chat box, just whack in whether you do yes, no, very simply, yes or no answer to this. How many of us sell? I'll give you about 35 seconds and let's see how that goes. Brilliant. Those answers are coming in. Thank you very much, guys. That's really good. I do, yes. Thank you very much. That's perfect. Give you a few more seconds. I'm a beginner. Fantastic. Well done. Good. Excellent. Good stuff. Well, listen, let me tell you something. All of us are in sales. Every single one of us. Every single time we are having a conversation, selling is happening. We are selling people what we like them to do if they work for us, for example. You have a conversation with someone trying to convince them that you have a great idea, selling again. A mother sells an idea to her child to make them do what they need them to do, right? That's sales. A husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend sells their idea to one another to do something. A friend trying to ask you to go out for a drink, for example, or go somewhere with them. They use techniques to convince you, or you convincing them whether you want to do it or not. So you see, in a way, we are all salespeople, and we use, to some degree or another, sales-driven techniques in our daily lives. And this is why I love this topic. So whatever it is that you are in business for, even if you're a housewife or out of a job, this applies to you. Now, why do people go into sales? Now, for most people, they go into sales for financial reasons. Or if you're like me, you fall into sales by accident. Now, people go into sales or customer service for personal satisfaction. Most people say they love to interact with people or serve people. And what typically happens is they join sales or customer service, they get trained, they start, they perform, and then either their performance declined, or if they are in service, they get disillusioned. For example, people working on telephone, for example, they start losing their way, and eventually what happens is they leave their job and they move to a different job. I want to share a story with you. Some of you may have already come across this story. If you have, great reminder. If you haven't, just lean in and listen to this. So once upon a time, a shoe company sent 2 salesmen to Africa to determine whether there was a market for their product, which was shoes. Now, one salesman went to the east coast of Africa, while the other one went to the west coast of Africa. Now, both salesmen went in there with the view of scouting the market to see whether there was any potential. So the one that went to the east coast of Africa sent a report in and said, sorry guys, no one here wears any shoes, so there's no market for us here. Now, the other one who went to the west coast of Africa sent a message saying, you know what, no one here wears shoes. There is a huge market for us, so send your inventories as fast as you can. Now, I want you to think about this for a while. Now, there's a moral to this story if you are in sales or service. Now, the point of the story is that your perspective influences your behavior. Meaning, if you feel you cannot change a situation, you act one way. On the other hand, if you see the world as a place full of opportunities, you act differently. Now, this is why we have really, really successful salespeople or fulfilled customer service people, people who enjoy their job, and they are very, very good at it. Unfortunately, however, we have some good salespeople or customer service people, but they're not really exceptional ones. Now, let me ask you another question. What are the key characteristics of a very good sales or service person other than their ability to do it? Now, I'll repeat that question. Just give me one. What is the key characteristics, in your opinion, of a very good sales or service person other than their ability to do it? I'll give you about 30 seconds. I'm just going to monitor the chat and see. Brilliant. I've got the first few ones. Never giving up. That's perfect. That's good. What we're going to show you and what we're going to teach you, I could keep believing regards to first experience. That's really good focus. Fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys, for your participation. That's really good. Keep them coming. That's right. We're gonna go over those later on as well. But what I want to say to you here is that what we're going to share with you here are the techniques, the tools, and predominantly the whole science about sales. Now, Alex, who's pretty much an expert in this, she will now cover that part where we talk about what are the characteristics of very good salespeople or service people. So Alex, take it away.
Thank you so much, Nick. It's such a huge pleasure to be here with you guys. And what I wanted to say, first of all, is that currently I love sales. I used to work in sales about 10 years ago, and it was in being a mortgage consultant, and I did it for a couple of years. And back then, I really struggled. I completely did not like being in sales. I went into become a mortgage consultant with a desire to help people. And when I got into that environment of targets, highly driven targets, something has really crumbled me inside. I couldn't understand what was going on within me, but I just did not enjoy what I was doing. It was almost like that spirit of me, the need to help other people to get the home of their dreams so I could help them financially. Something literally paralyzed my ability to pick up that phone and call a potential prospect. And I couldn't understand what was happening within myself. And the need to do my job properly was huge. I entered that job with that huge desire to connect with people and be that link between a prospect, a client, and a dream home. Reality was completely different. I couldn't get my head around the whole sales target. I was coming into the office most of the days and I was dragging that to-do list. Maybe this is something you feel right now. You know exactly what to do. You know that you should be contacting people. You have it written down. Maybe you also, just like myself 10 years ago, were sent on this phenomenal sales training where for 5, perhaps 3 weeks, you were taught these amazing strategies how to go out there and sell the product or the service that you offer. And when you were learning it, and then at the same time you were hearing these amazing success stories of other people in your company, there was this dream with you thinking, I could do the same. I could do the same. I can make it happen. So you were taught everything. You were given it on the plate. Some of you, maybe just like myself 10 years ago, were given a script. When you pick up the phone, you know exactly what to say. You know what you should be talking about. You know your product. You've studied it, just like myself 10 years ago. And I really enjoyed what I was doing. I enjoyed mortgages. I enjoyed to open up the computer and see all the potential products I could give to my clients. But when it came to speaking with my clients, something was pulling me back. Something was pulling me back so hard that instead of picking up that phone, I was busy updating my diary. I was busy with all the documents and all the paperwork that was on my desk. I was basically doing everything I could to keep myself busy, but not doing the activities that would actually help me to get those sales. And throughout those 2 years, this has crippled my potential success. So after 2 years, because I didn't like what I was doing and I was not good at what I was doing, I left the company and I said to myself, I will never, ever be back to sales ever again in my life. Then I got a different job, being an accountant, so much better, being behind a computer and just crunching numbers. Making a long story short, that job, after about 2-3 years, didn't feel as good as the beginning. I think the beginning just helped me to relax, helped me to feel that I did not have to deal with anyone face to face. It was just me being safe behind the screen, crunching my numbers, not having to pick up that phone ever again. However, 3 years later, being in that job as an accountant, I had this burning desire that there is something more out there. And that has led me into mindset training. So I reached out to my mentor, Bob Proctor, the best teacher on human potential and growth, and I started to be mentored by him. This experience that I have been doing for the past 6 years has actually helped me to understand why do we do the things we do on a daily basis, and why don't we want to do the things that we know how to, so we can contribute to the success of our business. This mindset training that I have been studying now for the past 5.5 years had helped me to understand why, when I was in a mortgage consultant, why something was holding me back. What was holding me back? I knew exactly what to do. I learned it. I was told what to do. I was shown people who were very successful doing exactly what I was doing, yet I couldn't make it successful. And this training that Bob helped me to understand has opened up my mind and helped me to understand what was really holding me back. So before I reveal to you guys what might be holding you back, if you feel that this is someone like me a few years ago, maybe this is also you, who you have that desire to succeed. You are in sales for a reason. You want to help other people. You are in service for a reason. Maybe you want to get more money. Maybe you want to have a very comfortable lifestyle. Maybe you want to become financially free. But you are in sales for a reason. But it doesn't mean that you actually do what you know how to. And this is something that we're going to help you understand through this entire week. When you stay with us every single day, we will help you to understand what is holding you back from doing the things that you truly know how to do and you desire to do. So before I reveal what is that's holding you back, let us know, guys, who resonates with my story about 10 years ago. How many of you feel that you have this desire within yourself to succeed? You have this desire to take your business to the next level. You have this desire to meet and exceed those sales targets. Yet, when it comes to day-to-day activities, even though you know exactly what to do, you're not doing it. From the bottom of your heart, every single day, you feel you could have been doing better. You know by end of today and end of most of the days that you could have done better. Yet again, the same cycle keeps repeating. So how many of you can resonate with this? If you do, please put resonate in a chat box, because we're here, guys, to support you on this journey. We're here to really uplift you and to help you understand what's going on within yourself in this process. But we would love to hear from you as well, guys, okay? So just as Nicole and Nick said, lean in and be an active participant, because we would love to hear from you. So please let us know how many of you resonate with that situation. How many of you feel that you want to do better, that you want to do more? Yet again, something is holding you back and you're not sure what it is. So please put resonate in a chat box. And now I'll tell you what is holding you back. And we'll explain this topic in depth throughout the next few days. So by end of this week, you will put all the puzzles together, and by Friday, you'll have a much deeper understanding of who you are and what you are. So there's a couple of things that might be holding you back. Before I reveal it, I know, guys, I'm just being like, oh my gosh, just say it. But how many of you might actually know what is holding you back? How many of you has thought about it? You know you can do better, but something is holding you back. Do you know what's holding you back? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever given this further thought every single day, what is actually holding you back? If you do know, please put in a chat box, because we would love to know, where is your awareness? How much you are actually aware of who you are and what you are. So we're just going to wait a few more seconds so you have a chance to share with what your thoughts and your opinions on this subject. And it's very important, okay, guys? So very simple questions, but when you do get involved, you will retain a lot more information. So please do get involved. There's no bad answers, okay? It's just to see where you are right now. And then by end of the session, we'll see if you were thinking just what I'm about to reveal to you. Excellent. So we've got beautiful answers. Fantastic. So what is really holding you back from going after what you know how and doing the things that you know how to is what we call self-image, your self-image. So what is self-image? We will elaborate on this topic tomorrow in depth, because self-image is something incredibly important to understand. So tomorrow we'll tell you about the self-image, what it is, and how you got it, and how you have your self-image, and how you can see what is your self-image. But today we wanted to just give you some ideas of what is actually within your mind that might be holding you back. So part of what is holding you back is your self-image. Part of what might be holding you back is some of your belief systems, perhaps. Maybe some of your negative habits. Because believe it or not, we are habitual beings. Each and one of us here is a habitual being. So 96% of the time, you and I operate on autopilot by habit. So you run on autopilot, and it's all because of your habitual way of being. So even though you know exactly what to do and you're not doing it, you're not picking up that phone perhaps to call your prospect, what might be holding you back is the self-image, and the part of self-image is how you see yourself, how you perceive yourself. Something that you may believe that you're not ready for this conversation. You might believe that you're going to get rejection, another rejection. Or also, you might have a habit of procrastination, just what I used to do in the past, and to do everything else except those activities, uncomfortable activities like picking up the phone. So it might be all of it together, or it might be one or two things that I've just mentioned. So this is something that is in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is like this powerhouse. And by end of this week, you'll have a deeper understanding of your subconscious mind. But as you probably know, your subconscious mind is something that you're not exactly aware of what's in your subconscious mind. We've heard about it many times here and there. That must be a part of my subconscious mind. We're not sure what it is, but I'll give you one quick tip to see what's stored in your subconscious mind when it comes to your self-image, when it comes to your habitual way of thinking, and when it comes to some of your beliefs. When you observe your behavior, that behavior reflects your subconscious mind. So if you just observe what you do on a daily basis, this will reflect some of your subconscious programming, which we call a paradigm. A paradigm is something that we talk about a lot in our mentorship program as well. And paradigm is maybe a word you've heard about before, but paradigm, explaining it simply, is a multitude of habits, belief system, and also your self-image. And that paradigm is in your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is pretty much running the show. So you either are very productive because it's a part of your paradigm, which is habits, your belief system and your self-image, or you procrastinating, which is also a habit. Procrastination is also a habit, it's just a negative habit. So this is exactly what might be holding you back. And when you start understanding yourself, when you start understanding your mind, your conscious mind, which is your intellectual mind, your educated mind, this is where you gather information about how to do things. This is where you gather information about the strategies. This is where you take this information during every single training you go with a company. You know exactly what to do. You've been taught what to do. It goes into your conscious mind, your intellect. When you gather that information, it's just in your conscious mind. It does not go to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is your emotional mind, and there is a gap between your conscious mind, which is your intellect, your educated mind, and your subconscious mind, which is your paradigm, which is the multitude of your habits, your belief system, and your self-image. And this week, we'll be helping you to bridge that gap between what you know and what you actually do. And we'll be sharing with you tools and mindset strategies to bridge that gap between what you know, that list to do you have on your desk every single day, to what you actually do. And Nick and I here today, we're here to help you understand that there is a gap between what you know and what you actually do. Would you agree, Nick?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, Alex. I just want to lean in and say a few things here, because I think it's important that we carry that kind of weight through when we talk about paradigm. We talk about the successful mindset, and I will explain that in a little bit probably simpler terms, so just make everybody understand what I'm going on about in terms of mindset. Now I'm going to ask a question very quickly, and I think this will resonate. Now, who can tell me who are the best salespeople on the planet and in the universe, the whole universe? Who are the best salespeople? Some of you who's been by me before, who've done some work before, might know the answer to this, but I do this in training a lot. So who are the best salespeople on the planet? Give us some answers in the chat box, because it's really, really important that you understand what we're talking about in terms of some subconscious mind and behavior and habitual behavior. Yeah, thank you very much for the comments coming through. Yes, brilliant. Some people say it's like those master their mind. Me, excellent, fantastic. Children are the best salespeople on the planet. Just think about it. Children have no inhibitions. They are focused on their goals. They ask loads of questions, and I'm sure you will agree with me. They are super determined. They are absolutely confident, not consciously anyway. They persevere to do whatever it is to achieve their goals. If you agree with me on that, just put in the chat box, agree. Children have a powerful self-image. They're not conscious of their self-image, so therefore they have no fear whatsoever in achieving their goals. Now, you know, do you have goals? Do you have professional or personal goal? If you are in sales or service, do you have a goal? And I'm not talking here about targets which your company generates for you to achieve their goals, but I'm talking about your personal goals. Now, this is the dilemma that everyone has. Now, we confuse company targets and objectives with our own objectives and goals. Targets are for companies' bottom line and keep their business afloat, or a measure of how much money you should and shouldn't earn. So some of you know my story when I worked in sales. If not, you will have a pretty good idea and pretty good picture by the end of the week, I can assure you. Now, I want you to really think about this. We limit our achievements based on a value that someone else has put in front of us. When I started in sales, I was not conscious of this. I did this unconsciously. I was delivering results beyond everyone's belief, my own beliefs. Why? Because I didn't limit myself to the goals that the company has set for me. I discovered that now, through the program that I'm doing, I discovered now that my self-image was functioning at a different level to everyone else when it came to my sales. Now, everyone knows about this, right? So if you are in sales, you see, everyone look at the sales KPIs at the end of the month, and almost everyone in the team will be there or thereabouts. Maybe a few would jump over the limits, over the target set, but almost 90% of people in a sales team will be there or thereabouts. Now, tell me how many of you had personal or professional development sessions with the company that you're working for, you have worked in the past? And how many of those professional development sessions gave you an insight on how to change your self-image, or how the self-image changed your performance? Drop in the chat box if you can. Put personal development, or put PDP yes or PDP no. How many of you have gone to training session, coaching session in the past when you were in sales or service, where self-image has been talked about at really large depth? No companies that I know of get to the root cause of your results. Nobody. No one that I've gone through. Anyway, tomorrow we will talk about beliefs in more details, like the science behind success, psychocybernetics. See, if your sales or service conversion with prospects or customers, it's a reflection of your self-image and beliefs. So your results that you are achieving right now is a result of your limitations of your belief set by the environment, or perhaps by your company. Alex is really good at describing this. So Alex, you take it away from me.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Nick. And this is something what you just said, which really, I remember when we started working together about 3 months ago now, and you told me about your story from when you started. And you said to me that you would go into a company, look at the targets board, and you would say to yourself, okay, who's at the top? I'm going to beat that. And you did, in a very short period of time. You are, Nick, the type of the person that when I joined mortgages 10 years ago, you hear about these people. You hear about these people. These are the top performers. What do? They pick up a phone and they speak to the prospect. That's why we are taught this strategy to do certain things. Companies follow those top performers and they say, what do? Well, they come into work, they pick up the phone, they call prospects. This is what we have to do. We have to call X amount of people. Out of this X amount of people, you'll get few responses, you'll get few rejections, you'll get then also few sales. And this is what I was taught. However, the missing part, a huge missing part, is just like you said. We were not taught about goals, personal goals, not just the company goal. Every company has a goal to double the sales, to have the profit, and so on. Not even every company has the doubling the sales, is to have an increase every year, bit by bit, right? That's the company's goal, to grow incrementally every single year. When I was working with my mentor, Bob Proctor, he used to work for Prudential, a huge American company, the biggest insurance company in the 1950s. And when he walked into Prudential, he said to them, it was mid-year, 1950s, 1960s, and he said, now I'm going to show you how each and one of you can make sales of $5 million this year. And when he was telling this story, he said to us, the moment when I said it, I completely lost my audience. The bodies were there, but the mind left. Why? Because people heard it and straight away they thought, that's impossible. That's impossible. And then during the break, he had people coming up to him and say, do you even know anything about selling insurance? And Bob said, no, I don't. Well, I could see it because nobody has ever sold $5 million of insurance, and we are already halfway into this year. And then Bob said, well, I may not know much about selling insurance, but I know about personal behavior, and I know what's holding people back. First of all, what's holding people back is to dream bigger, to really allow themselves to think beyond that target. Just like Nick, when he walked into that office, he looked at the board and he said, okay, that's my benchmark. Let's go after it. He allowed himself to dream bigger. However, Nick, 20 years ago, was doing this unconsciously. He had it in his subconscious mind, a part of his habitual way of thinking. And this is what we call people, successful people, who are very good at what they do. We call them unconsciously successful because they're very good at it, but they don't know why. They don't know why, because they just do it on autopilot. Remember, guys, each and one of you, if you are a sales manager, if you are a VP of sales and you have a team of people that are not performing to what to you seems quite simple, why they just not picking up the phone? They know what to do. We teach them. We spend so much, and companies spend so much time and money in corporate sales to teach every single person what to do. Yet again, everybody goes back to the office and everybody goes before the phone calls, and the sales are not doubling, they're not tripling. Maybe there is a slight increase that month when you had the training because there is some sort of shift of energy. Maybe there is a bit of a shift of motivation, and maybe people start thinking, well, yes, I can do it. They get motivated, but that only lasts a week, maybe 2, 3 the most. And then what happens next? It goes back to the same old same. If you are a manager or a director of your company, I can bet you that I could ask you about every single person in your company, how they're going to create, how many sales they're going to create next month, and you would be able to tell me. You would be able to predict how well your people will perform in the next few months. Because you know it's a pattern. You know that if they've been with you for a year, 2 years, or 3 years, or 5 years, you know that they are very good, or they are just trying and it's just not happening. And this knowing doing gap, as we call it, because people know what to do, yet they're not doing it. This knowing doing gap can be very frustrating. Can be very frustrating for you if you're a manager or a director, but also for you if you're an employee trying to make it happen, yet it's not happening. So here, what we do teach is we help you to understand that it's not just about getting into a company, being sent out for those corporate trainings to learn scripts, to learn your to-do list. This is not the primary cause of the results. Because what we're trying to do here in a normal and average corporations, we're trying to force the behavior. We're trying to tell people what to do, how to behave. You have to pick up the phone. You have to call 10 prospects per day. But the behavior is not the primary cause of the results. The primary cause of the results is that subconscious mind, is that programming in every person's subconscious mind, is how they see themselves, is that self-image, how they see themselves. Do they feel confident before picking up the phone, or they're resenting it? Do they expect rejection, or they expect the win? And I would like to bring you, Nick, back on the screen, because I remember when I was working with you, and I was literally, when I was listening to your stories, I remember you were telling me those incredible stories, and I was saying to you, yes, you are the perfect example of an unconscious competent that you know what to do, and people will try to copy you. They will try to ask you, what do you do to get those sales, to get those deals? You'll tell them what to do. Yet again, it would not work for everyone. And it's frustrating, isn't it? Have to just unmute yourself. Sorry. There you go.
Yeah. So, so you know, just going back to what you just said about being kind of an unconscious competent. When I started in sales, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. I got a script. I started making some sales. From day one, I said to myself, well, you know, this guy can do 150. I wonder what it would take for me to do 300. And in 2 months, I done 350, and I kept this. I was the top salesperson for 23 months out of 24. They promoted me. I got a team of people. They, you know, during that course of the 2 years, I had a lot of people coming and sitting down with me and trying to understand what I was doing. And they wrote a lot of script at the back of it, a lot of words, but none of them seemed to have worked the way it should. And they gave me a team to go and train and coach. Yeah, I took the team. I done some sales with those teams, but you know, if I knew then what I know now, things would have been different. Now I know the missing part of that puzzle. I now understand it, and I sure hope that you all who hear on this call and during the whole week, you will learn that. And I wish I had that back then, really did. But nevertheless, I will take that. I will take that now, and I will share that with anyone I can.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nick. So exactly what we're going to be doing here this week, guys, in depth, is explaining to you bit by bit every single part of what might be holding you back and how to shift it. So today's session is dedicated to goals. So we would like you to think about what is your personal goal to start with. Have you got a goal? Do you really know what you want? This is something that nobody has ever asked me in depth. I've actually had those questions when I was interviewed, I remember, and I was asked a couple of questions. What is the car that you want and what color? And I answered it very quickly, and I think they were surprised and they thought, okay, she knows what she wants. But that was not enough. That was not enough, because even though I knew what car I wanted, that paradigm, that lower self-esteem was holding me back. The lack of confidence was holding me back. What was also holding me back is the fear from rejection. So we'll dedicate an entire session on fear during this week. We'll also dedicate an entire session on self-image tomorrow, and we'll go in depth onto self-image. But today we would like you guys to really think about your goals. And goals is something that you hear about here and then. Well, I mean, so many people talk about goals. You know, the beginning of the year, you talk about goals. The beginning of the month, you talk about goals. However, something that Nick will tell you in a few seconds, goals are not targets to start with, and he will elaborate on that. And then I'll elaborate on worthy goals. And worthy goals is something that you really have to go after. And the truth is, only 3% of people go after worthy goals. So what is the difference between just goals and worthy goals? I'll explain in a few seconds. But first of all, Nick, go and explain about the targets and goals, because that's something that I was definitely not taught about before.
Yeah, I mean, not many people do, and I think it's really important to actually associate targets with the company bottom line. And I think I tried to talk about that earlier, where what I was saying is that the company set a target. They have a goal for their own to grow as a company, and as a result, they put in some targets, and they say, right, we will achieve X amount of sales over the course of the year. They break it down into months, and then break it down into weeks, and then perhaps break it down into days. And that happened to me when there was a company that I worked for, and when I joined the company, the CEO of the company said to me, I would like for this department to make 1,000 sales a month. And I said, what does that actually mean? Is that a goal of yours, or is it a goal? Is it a target that you're trying to achieve here? So now the goal is to make at least 12,000 sales in a year. I said, right, okay, so you've broken it down, and so I said, well, why are you limiting yourself to 1,000? Why can't we do 1,500? What's the difference? Why can't we? Oh yeah, well, we've never done it. Well, you haven't employed me yet. Let me show you how to do this, and I'll make sure we do. Now, within 3 months, we did 1,000 without any problem, and then we continued to progress, and we done the 1,300, 1,400 sales in a month. The point of all of this is that companies set targets for a reason, for their bottom line, and only their bottom line, and trying to make profit and grow their company. However, people working has never been told or never been allowed to create their own goal, because they think that by having a target, that's what I'm going to achieve, and that's what I'm going to achieve. That's it. Well, when I have my team, when I do sales, and I'm a sales manager, the first thing I say, what do you think you can achieve? That is your goal, because this is financially driven. People have sales target for a reason, and one reason only, to actually make a difference in people's life for whatever they're trying to sell, but also for financial reasons. So it's important that you put them together and say, right, okay, well, actually, I would like to make X amount of £1,000 a month, so therefore I need to make X amount of sales a month. And my question would be, why can't you do that? What's stopping you? Let's try and do it. So I've always said to my team, the target is what it is at that level. It doesn't stop you from going there. So take that out of your mind, push yourself, and do the best you can. Because if that's your goal, that is your personal goal. Target is completely different. So I've always, and that's why I was successful in sales, I never looked at target. My manager was coming to me, he was saying, I'm not going to tell you about targets because you're going to smash it anyway. I said, well, yeah, because I don't work on your target, I work on mine. So that was what I was doing. And I trained my people to do it. Unfortunately, some people did, some people didn't. And some people who did it for a while and then stopped. And I never knew why. So there you are, it's yours.
And this is where I come in and I explain why, because this is where I understood why this happens, why there's always this temporary shift, and then it's fall back to the same pattern. Why there is that motivation that lasts only a couple of weeks, from the training, from where you bring your team together, you give them a motivational talk, and you tell them a little bit more examples about this and that person, how they do it. You inject that belief in that person for that very moment, and they'll feel not only what you're saying, they'll feel your energy, and they'll literally get that motivation, get pumped up with that motivation and energy. They'll go off and they would do better for a short term. It's never permanent change, and it never lasts long time. Just like you, Nick, said, they will improve and then it falls back. Why? Because it's all about that programming that we have in our subconscious mind. Now, something we'll talk about tomorrow. Now, when it comes to goals, there are 3 types of goals that we teach in our mastermind class and mentorship program. Something that my mentor taught me a long time ago, and is A, B, and C type of goal. And what happens with 90-something% people is that they go after A and B type of goals. So A type of goal is where people go after something and they think they can get. So they say, okay, if I make X amount of calls, that's what I'm gonna get. So they think that's what they have to do, and they go after it. The B type of goal is they have a bit of a planning. They say, if I educate a little bit more myself, if I just study a little bit more, if I practice a little bit more, I'll get better. So they have a bit of a plan, and it's a B type of goal, and they go after that as well. None of those goals is good enough. Why? Because they are not worthy goals. We just look at the target and we think to myself, to ourselves, can I get it? Can I not? If I really push this month, maybe I'll get it. And that's exactly what I was getting 10 years ago. I had months when I would exceed the sales targets, and I would be surprised because I would be thinking, wow, that was lucky. But majority of months, I was always underneath. And that was because of my habits, my way of thinking, my belief system, and definitely lack of confidence and not understanding the fear from rejection. So then when we go deeper and when we really ask ourselves, what is that I really want? Something that Nick was talking about a few minutes ago. He walked in and he said, that's what I want to do. I'm going to double it. He went way beyond that target. So if we go after that we truly desire, something that really gives that burning desire where you almost smile to yourself when your heart pumps faster, this is something that you truly really want to achieve. But not many people go that far. Not many people stretch themselves that far. That's why the motivation is not long lasting, because you're going after something that doesn't inspire you. You're only going after something what you think you can get, but that's not inspiring. So what we really are teaching here is, first of all, do you really know what you want? That's number one. Do you really know what you want? Not what you think you can get. Not what you think you should get or learn to then get what you want, but what is your true dream and desire? And that's what stops most people from reaching further, from stretching. When you stretch yourself, you learn something incredible about yourself. You really learn that it's not only possible to triple, quadruple that target, it's achievable in the long term, but you have to work with that step-by-step formula we're going to be teaching here this week. So goals are incredibly important, but they have to be worthy goals. Worthy goals are coming from the bottom of your heart, are coming from your true desires. Goals that most people go after is those intellectual goals. Intellectual goals will never inspire you enough. Would you agree, Nick, from your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have a goal, it doesn't actually kind of scare you and think, how am I going to achieve this? I mean, like I said, when I work in this company, and the company CEO said to me, I want to make 1,000 sales a month. I didn't have no idea how I was going to do this. No idea whatsoever. And it was scaring me. But, what you do is, you focus your attention on it. It drives, I think it drives and motivates you down to your bone, down to your every single cell of your body to actually get to where you need to get. There was no stopping me, because that was the goal that I had in my head. Equally, it was when I started doing sales. When someone says, well, this 150 is what we can do, and I said, well, I'll double it. I was living and breathing this every single day, and I achieved it. And when I was doing it, it was naturally done without any much of an effort, to be fair. And that's what we teach here, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's a habit. And when you start stretching yourself, when you dare to stretch yourself after what you truly desire, you will discover something within yourself that you didn't even know was there. And that's the biggest part from this. So today we would like you to leave you with a homework. And we believe that each and one of you will accomplish that homework for yourself, because we want you to experience some shift this week already. We don't want you guys just to spend an entire week with us every single day for 1 hour listening to us. We would like you to put your mind into work. And in order for you to really think about what you truly desire, that requires certain thought. It doesn't come to us often, and it doesn't come to us automatically, because nobody teaches us to focus on what you truly desire and go after what you truly desire. We are programmed in a certain way of thinking. So now for you to really go deeper and learn who you are and what you really want, you have to ask yourself that question. What do I really want? What do I really want? And this is the homework for today, guys, for each and one of you to complete. take that pen and paper you have and complete this homework today, by tomorrow's session, because this will help you to really connect yourself with your true wants and desires. So this is from us today. And thank you so much, guys, for being here with us. We'll just leave it to Nicole to summarize quickly today's homework and to give you some information about tomorrow's session.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. It was a pleasure being with you, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Can't hear you, Nicole.
No, we can't hear you, Nicole. I think the connection, maybe. You're definitely unmuted. Maybe the connection is not there. Let's just give you a few more seconds. Okay, so maybe Nicole's connection is not great. So I just wanted to summarize for Nicole today that, first of all, thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us today. And we trust that you enjoy this session. If you have enjoyed it and you received a lot of value or perhaps some aha moments, please put a value or aha moment in the chat box, because we would love to hear from you. And also, just as a reminder once again, before tomorrow, please complete your homework, because this is for your growth. Take time today, 20, 30 minutes, 1 hour if you need to, if you really are serious about shifting those results this week for you and see some visible shifts by end of this week. We would encourage you to complete every single day's homework. And today's homework is to take that time to yourself, go somewhere you're not interrupted, ask yourself that question, what is that I really want? And keep asking, and whatever comes to your mind, just write it down in your notebook. And then really think about that one thing that you truly desire. So prioritize your list. If you have 5 things that you want or 10 things that you truly desire, just prioritize. Pick 1 or 2 things that you truly desire to achieve by end of this year, perhaps by end of next year, and just write it down in a big statement. I am so happy and grateful now that I have achieved whatever is your true desire. And we would love to hear from you tomorrow when we start our next session, how many of you have actually completed this homework. And I can promise you guys, if you do complete our homeworks every single day, if you give it 100%, by end of this week, you will see some visible shifts within yourselves already. The process we teach you this week is very simple. It's a step-by-step scientific formula. It's simple, but it's up to you guys to put it into action. Nothing happens without action. So once again, thank you everyone to be here with us today, and we look forward to be seeing you tomorrow. We're back at 7 p.m. UK time, and we'll be talking about the science of your success. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.